Blake Lively honestly believed she and Ryan Reynolds had created the ultimate celebrity fortress hidden away in New York. In her mind, it was supposed to become this flawless billionaire fantasy where she could lounge on an enormous veranda wrapped in designer blankets, staring out across endless private land while nobody for miles could even come close to disturbing them. That was always the vision. Total isolation, endless luxury, absolute control. Remember when Blake casually admitted during that virtual planning board meeting that one of the reasons they chose the location was because neighbors would never even see them? Seriously. Only Blake could deliver a sentence that sounded straight out of a rich villain monologue and somehow make it seem charming. Most people move somewhere and say they appreciate the town. Blake practically announced, "We picked this place because regular humans cannot exist near us." But now, nearly 8 years later, that glamorous eco-luxury dream estate has reportedly spiraled into a massive financial disaster, with more than $2.1 million in unpaid construction claims hanging over the property. Million. That is way beyond some accounting mistake. That is not an unpaid receipt buried in paperwork somewhere. 5 different contractors reportedly filed mechanics liens against Blake and Ryan's estate. 5 separate businesses. At some point, that stops sounding like confusion and starts sounding extremely suspicious. 1 contractor complaining could be bad luck. 2 might mean negotiations collapsed. But 5 different companies all accusing you of unpaid balances. That starts making people raise eyebrows fast. And honestly, the deeper you look into this story, the wilder everything becomes, because this wasn't just some normal celebrity mansion project. Absolutely not. Blake and Ryan apparently wanted a luxury compound that looked like it belonged in a billionaire sci-fi movie. Reports claim the estate features an enormous main house, a giant pool retreat, a private gym building, geothermal systems, custom copper roofing, heavy steel infrastructure, drainage systems, septic construction, excavation work, outrageously expensive interiors. Basically every elite upgrade money can buy shoved into one sprawling property. You can practically picture Blake walking around carrying stacks of design inspiration, acting like she was rebuilding a royal palace from scratch. Ryan, I really think the copper roof should glow under the moon in a cinematic way. Meanwhile, the workers behind the scenes were allegedly wondering whether the checks were ever going to arrive. And honestly, the most unbelievable detail might be the name of the company tied to the largest lien. Flower Construction. Flower Construction. You genuinely cannot make this up. Blake Lively, whose entire public image revolves around flowers, gardens, elegance, and curated luxury aesthetics, hiring a company literally named Flower Construction almost sounds like parody. Like some exaggerated Hollywood satire written for television. And according to reports, Flower Construction alone allegedly filed claims exceeding $1.3 million. Just them alone. The company reportedly handled framing, HVAC installation, plumbing, electrical systems, drywall, masonry, waterproofing, paintwork, custom millwork, basically the entire backbone of the compound itself. This was major commercial-level construction. Serious labor. Not somebody upset over a missing furniture payment. These were enormous projects connected directly to an ultra-luxury celebrity estate. And here's the thing people keep pointing out. Contractors usually do not rush to file mechanics liens unless the situation behind closed doors has completely deteriorated. Filing a lien is a serious legal action. It is essentially a public announcement declaring, "You owe us money, and now everybody is going to know about it." The debt becomes attached directly to the property. So when reports surfaced claiming more than $2 million in liens were connected to Blake and Ryan's supposedly perfect dream compound, the embarrassment factor skyrocketed instantly, especially for 2 celebrities constantly marketed as America's lovable golden couple. Because image means everything to them. Blake and Ryan spent years carefully building this polished public reputation. They are supposed to be the witty couple, the glamorous couple, the effortlessly charming power duo. Ryan delivers sarcastic jokes in interviews. But stories like this completely shatter that carefully crafted image, because the second headlines like these appear, people immediately begin asking questions nobody on a celebrity PR team wants to answer. Questions like, how do 5 different contractors all end up claiming they were never paid? That is not the kind of rumor you brush away with a cute Instagram post. And according to reports, construction on the estate reportedly started slowing down heavily toward the end of 2025 before almost fully stalling in early 2026. Which honestly makes the situation sound even more chaotic, because if work was allegedly freezing while millions still remained unpaid, then whatever was happening behind closed doors had to be incredibly tense. Construction disputes are stressful enough for ordinary homeowners. Now imagine that pressure mixed with massive celebrity egos, impossible luxury demands, endless redesigns, delayed timelines, attorneys stepping in, planning boards getting involved, and contractors demanding huge sums of money. At this point, the property probably feels less like a dream home and more like some cursed royal estate where everybody secretly hates each other. And what makes this even more uncomfortable is how publicly enthusiastic Blake had been about the property for years. That is what turns the whole thing into such an awkward spectacle. She openly talked about how eager she was to finally begin building and move into the estate with Ryan and their children. She described it as this peaceful hidden sanctuary where nobody from the outside world could interrupt their lives. Fast forward to now, and the conversation surrounding the property is completely different. Instead of stories about privacy and nature, the headlines are about unpaid debts, mechanics' liens, and construction companies allegedly chasing millions of dollars. And online audiences have already started connecting this entire situation to the much larger backlash Blake has been facing recently. Because once public opinion starts shifting against a celebrity, every single story suddenly takes on a darker tone. Old interviews get replayed. Formerly charming personality quirks begin looking smug. Comments people once ignored start sounding arrogant. And Blake absolutely seems to be entering that stage right now. The part fueling the biggest reactions is how outrageously extravagant this Blake and Ryan project reportedly became while all these contractor disputes were allegedly unfolding at the exact same time. Because this is not some middle-class family struggling through kitchen renovations. This estate sounds like a billionaire fantasy fortress designed by people convinced ordinary luxury simply was not impressive enough. Separate gym structures, giant pool facilities, geothermal heating systems, custom copper roofing, massive steel fabrication work, luxury finishes covering every inch of the property. You can practically picture designer candles burning beside imported marble countertops just reading about it. Meanwhile, according to the filings, contractors were allegedly still waiting to receive millions they claimed were owed. That contrast is exactly why the public reaction has become so intense. It paints a picture of unbelievable excess mixed with a sense of entitlement people already accuse celebrities of having. And once audiences begin viewing famous people through that lens, reversing the damage becomes incredibly difficult. Especially for Blake, because she has always projected this extremely polished, almost overly controlled image. Even during interviews, she sometimes comes across like somebody carefully acting out what she believes a flawless woman should sound like. Normally Ryan's humor softened that perception. He made jokes, acted self-aware, kept the energy playful. But recently even Ryan's famous charm seems less effective than before. People are analyzing both of them differently now. And honestly, the Daily Mail absolutely understood the angle they were pushing with this story. The article framed everything almost like the unraveling of some glamorous Hollywood royal family hiding disorder behind giant gates, expensive landscaping, and carefully manicured perfection. Because the fantasy Blake publicly sold to people was incredibly specific. She wanted this secluded paradise in upstate New York where she and Ryan could completely retreat from public life. She spoke about preserving nature, protecting the property, and building a peaceful environment for their children away from Hollywood chaos. The entire image was basically, we are escaping toxic celebrity culture. But now the narrative surrounding the estate feels far less like a peaceful escape and far more like a luxury construction war zone. And honestly, one more detail reportedly makes the entire situation look even worse. According to And honestly, the moment celebrities start looking even slightly exposed, the internet transforms into a full-time investigation unit. The second this story surfaced, social media instantly filled with amateur detectives trying to piece together what they think is really happening behind those massive gates. Some people believe the entire estate spiraled wildly over budget. Others are convinced there were serious disagreements over construction quality or delays. And then, of course, you have the dramatic conspiracy crowd insisting Blake and Ryan are somehow secretly drowning financially, which feels extremely unlikely. Ryan alone has earned absurd amounts through business ventures. Between aviation gin, Mint Mobile, and everything else tied to his name, they are absolutely wealthy on another level. But at the same time, rich celebrities having payment disputes with contractors is not exactly some rare Hollywood phenomenon either. Sometimes it turns into a weird control issue. Sometimes famous clients assume companies will stay patient because getting associated with celebrities boosts their reputation. Sometimes giant luxury projects become such chaotic monsters that financial disagreements explode everywhere. And sometimes incredibly wealthy people become shockingly difficult whenever money enters the conversation. Nobody likes saying that part out loud, but it happens constantly. Honestly, the funniest mental image is imagining the atmosphere inside that property while all this alleged construction drama was unfolding. Because you just know Blake was probably still trying to preserve this perfectly curated lifestyle aesthetic while legal chaos swirled around the estate. I can completely picture her wandering through half-finished hallways wearing oversized designer linen, holding an expensive coffee cup, whispering things like, "Ryan, something about the mood in the wellness hallway feels spiritually unbalanced." Meanwhile, contractors are reportedly filing legal claims for millions. And Ryan is probably trying to survive the tension by making sarcastic jokes every 5 minutes. That man practically runs on humor as a coping mechanism. But eventually even Deadpool-level sarcasm stops helping once people start associating your name with a $2.1 million lien situation. And lately, people have already been re-evaluating Blake's entire public image anyway. Especially the question of whether she feels more disconnected than relatable now. For years she was marketed as this aspirational lifestyle woman everybody was supposed to admire. Fashion icon, elegant homemaker, baking expert, gardening mom, effortlessly glamorous mother of 4, somehow balancing luxury and family life perfectly. But stories like this start tearing holes in that carefully designed image. Suddenly audiences begin revisiting older interviews where she sounded slightly condescending, old moments where she appeared overly polished, dismissive, or strangely rehearsed. Public opinion changes incredibly fast, and social media absolutely thrives on that transformation. Once the internet senses even the tiniest weakness in a celebrity's reputation, people immediately begin resurfacing old clips, forgotten scandals, awkward interviews, and random rumors from years ago. The entire tone surrounding that celebrity changes almost overnight. One day Blake and Ryan are the internet's favorite relationship goals couple. The next day people are wondering whether they are secretly exhausting nightmare clients behind closed doors. And honestly, gigantic celebrity mansions almost always seem cursed somehow. Have you noticed that pattern? Famous people buy these enormous dream estates believing they are building paradise. And then a few years later the headlines become lawsuits, divorces, contractor disputes, angry neighbors, or endless unfinished construction disasters. It is like the larger and more extravagant the property becomes, the stranger the energy surrounding it eventually gets. What makes this even more interesting is that Blake seemed genuinely emotionally invested in this place too. She did not simply purchase one luxury home. Reports say she also